So hello and welcome to the first proper episode of the PerkyPod, where I'm going to be digging into finding my why, thinking about my own purpose, my faith, and why I'm starting this podcast, the PerkyPod. And there's a variety of reasons why I started this, and I'm still kind of exploring exactly that at the moment. But I'm wanting to kind of start this as an opportunity for me to dig deeper into kind of my own personal growth journey, my own personal journey in faith. And also my professional development, which is actually linking in with one of the modules I'm doing at university as well, which is called Down in Falmouth. So it's all kind of tying together well. This is something I've been kind of wanting to start for a while, and it's nice to kind of have that opportunity to do one, also having a tie-in with what I'm studying. And I'm kind of been excited to do this, and keen to start a podcast for a while, but it's definitely something that I also can be a bit nervous about and a bit kind of putting off in some ways or other, because of time commitments and things like that. But then also thinking, oh, what are people going to think of me putting something out here? But actually, I've put so much stuff out there over the years that I'm kind of got to the point I'm just going to send it, see what happens. I may keep this up, I may not. But it's nice to give something a go and commit to it for a time and see how it goes. And either way, I'm going to grow through the process of doing this, which is what matters. So whether this exists in a year's time or a couple of years' time or not, hopefully it will. But if it doesn't, I'm still going to have grown and learned from the conversations I'll be having, or just to the camera, but also the conversations I'll be having with hopefully guests down the line. I found weirdly kind of the hardest part of actually starting this. It was just pressing record and starting. Like the first one I did was just me on a walk, not really knowing what I was starting, but just kind of expressing the fact I wanted to. And I think I've slowly realised that it's actually a lot easier to start a podcast than I expected. But the hardest part is just recording and going for it. So there'll probably be mistakes in this, but that's kind of part of the journey, part of the growth on it. Because it's actually a lot easier just to video yourself, chuck it on Spotify, on YouTube and all that, and start a podcast. So here we are. I think, sorry, just reading some of my notes about what I'm actually doing. I don't even know exactly what I'm doing, but this is why I'm here. And I think, why it matters doing this. It's something I've kind of wanted to do as an opportunity to help grow personally, grow in lots of different ways, but have also conversations with other people who I wouldn't necessarily normally have conversations with, or be able to kind of open doors with people who I may not normally be able to have those conversations. So I'm really excited to be able to use this as an opportunity to do that. That should be great. Why now? I think one of the things I'm thinking about is, why am I doing this? Why am I doing it now? I think in life, there's never the right time to start anything, and it's not the right time to start a podcast. My third year at university is in some ways a bit of a bad idea because I've not got time already. I'm busy. I've got a business I'm running. I'm meant to be doing third year. I'm meant to be also helping out a church and lots of things I'm not meant to be doing, but it's nice to do, so many things. But actually, it's a great opportunity to do these things. It's a great opportunity to serve. And it's a great opportunity to be able to kind of express some of my thoughts and just think about them and put them out there and help keep myself accountable. Because there's various things I've been trying to struggle and grow on, including my discipline with lots of things. And I think while putting things out there, expressing some of the things I'm struggling with, procrastination, etc., is hopefully going to help me grow in that, because I'm keeping myself accountable to people that might be listening, or no one that's listening, but just to myself through this, and it's helping me be more mindful about what I'm doing here, and about being more mindful about the kind of aims I've got that I'm trying to go through. So I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for me to really reflect on where I'm at, as I love kind of reflecting and being prayerful and being kind of showing gratitude for the blessings God's given us and things. But I think it's to do that more is even more valuable, and to reflect more than just in my faith, but in everything that's going on in my journey, in my business, professionally, and stuff like that, as that's something I don't often give the time to reflect on. So I think this is hopefully going to be a really good opportunity to dig into that, and it's all going to be a way of documenting my journey on kind of track my progress over these conversations. It's exciting to be able to put myself out there. I've done it a fair bit with my business, with kind of short form video content, some of the bits that have gone over on the news over the years, which has been a massive blessing to be part of. So it's going to be cool to be able to do things a bit rather than just kind of shouting about me, hopefully more about digging more into the deeper stuff, and also helping other people grow through the conversations I might be having, as it might be issues other people are struggling with or whatnot. And that's if people are listening. If not, that's absolutely fine, because I think it's going to help me grow if no one else listens. So either way, it's a win-win, and I'm trying to not kind of, yeah, not be bothered if no one notices this. Like, I don't actually, you know, I'm not going to worry too much if no one listens. It's more about my own internal growth and not kind of external validation from other people. And yes, it'd be awesome if lots of people listen, but actually that's not why I'm doing it. And if people do listen and grow from it, that would be even better. That would help fulfill it, the purpose of this podcast even more. But I'm not trying to kind of pinpoint the success of this podcast I'm starting based off whether lots of people listen, but rather than the fact that if I can grow from this opportunity, that's going to be, yeah, the kind of the most useful thing throughout this. That's what's going to make it a success. So yeah, thinking about kind of some of my core values and what my impact is I've got, yeah, kind of in my life, faith is the most important thing. I'm a Christian, I love Jesus, and I want to share that with others. And that's for me my priority, above uni, above other things that are going on. Like that's the number one. And I love church, I love Christian Union, I love the various youth groups I've been part of and helped volunteer at. And that's been a massive part of my life. And I want to give back and help grow other people. Through that, help bring people to Christ and help people become the best versions of themselves, whether they're Christians or not. I want to just give people the opportunity to hear about Jesus and give, people the opportunity to grow themselves and become, the best of themselves. And I also kind of love making things. I've got my own little business called Ben Makes, where I do kind of blacksmithing and jewelry making and make lots of things and sell it online. And that's kind of started from a passion project of just loving making stuff. So yeah, I love being creative, and it's kind of why I'm starting this podcast. It's another way of just my creative outlet of making things, but more kind of digitally rather than physical items. And I love adventure. I love climbing mountains, love skiing, love surfing, love sailing, anything outdoorsy, running, swimming, whatnot. I love all of that. And that's been a massive part of my life and still is, slightly less so in recent months, as I have a bit of a shoulder injury, which we'll get into another day, I'm sure, but has still been blessed to be able to get involved with lots of those things. And I also just love blessing other people and helping draw alongside friends and family members and everything, and just digging in relationally. I think for me, like, family and friends are so important, and aren't those kind of friendships and relationships aren't things I want to let go to the side. And I think recently actually I have been at times not prioritizing them, so I've been trying to be really mindful to dig into those friendships and opportunities and actually have those conversations with friends, and cool friends, which is something I did today, which was so nice and really helps me keep me grounded and help me not be too busy and not to be too rushed, because I think something I'm in a good habit of doing is actually being too rushed, which isn't a good habit for me, but that's something I have been in a habit of. So I'm really trying to grow throughout that and not be too fast paced on things. And I think my faith is actually really helping with that and helping that be a goal of mine, because I think I'm not called to be rushing everywhere as a Christian. Jesus, didn't kind of rush around in the same way. He went up the mountain, he prayed on his own. And I think I'm trying to bring that into my life more. And I know I'm not good at that, but I'm on a journey of growing. And that's why I'm kind of sharing that here as one of the things I'm trying to grow in. And yeah, lots of the goals I've got with this and with my life are surrounded by me, wanting to grow my faith and wanting me to help others have that opportunity as well, because I think that's the most important. But that doesn't mean I don't want to help other non-Christians. Like, if you're a non-Christian, listen to this or whatever, you're so welcome. And I want this to be a space where conversations can be had, and yeah, kind of things can be talked about that are, going to be able to help grow, whoever you might be and whatever stage you're at. But I want this kind of be just an authentic way of me sharing everything I'm doing, and it be kind of vulnerable, and for me to be digging deep and actually sharing the things that aren't easy to share, but actually will help others be inspired to share with their friends, have those deep conversations, but also help me grow through those difficulties I might be going through, and being open about them, I think, is the best way. And vulnerability, I think, and accountability with these things for in friendships and within this and things is so vital. So I'm hoping this can be an encouragement for others and for myself to continue doing that, and to really inspire and encourage people to do that, and also to be reflecting, and to inspire people to reflect on where you're at, to take that time out, just get your journal and Jesus, or not, just get your journal and you. If you're not a Christian, that's cool, and just spend that time reflecting, seeing where you're at in life, and kind of understanding where you might be going from there. And I think, yeah, like through lots of the youth work I've been doing over the years and in being getting involved with as a youth, that's been such a vital part, being just open and having those good conversations to help grow. And that's been massive throughout my youth, throughout my young years, and now as a student, I'm following my gap year and everything. That's definitely vulnerability and openness has led to so much fruit, and I think it's so good to be open about where you're at with things, and that's something I think is a great opportunity to grow from. And yeah, so I think then think practically about what this podcast is, and it's basically me sharing various things that's on my mind, be that kind of my faith, be that discipline, be that personal growth journeys that I'm on, and be that topics I'm interested in. It might just be a chat with a friend about a cool topic about surfing, because I love surfing, but then it might be much deeper, digging into some vulnerable parts of life and mental health issues, and I want it to be a place where all those things can be shared. And I think at the moment I'm going to try and commit to posting around 4 times a month, so hopefully once a week or so, but we'll see how that goes. I don't want to kind of set myself up for failure by making it too ambitious, so I'm going to kind of keep that as an open goal. If that's going to be too much, I'm going to dial it down so I can sustainably keep this going, hopefully for the next year is my aim, and then we'll kind of assess from there and reflect and see if it's something I want to carry on, and hopefully it will be. And yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a time commitment to make the extra time to do the recording, do the editing, and have this time to actually reflect, because I think that's something I don't give enough time for. So I'm hoping to be really intentional, using this podcast as an opportunity to reflect more on where I'm at with my business professionally, with my uni degree, but also where I'm at personally with my faith and my kind of personal growth journey. And yeah, I think through this I'm going to develop a lot of skills which I'm really excited about. I really want to be growing my discipline. That's something I've kind of bookmarked this year. At the start of the year I was like, that's something I want to grow in, and I've grown in it, but I've not grown as much as I'd like to, and I think that's going to be a constant journey of being disciplined and not being too strict on myself as well through that, as I know I have high standards for myself on that, and I think I'd often set myself up for failure by trying to do too much and trying to say I'm going to do this, but actually it's just completely unsustainable. So I really want to be able to grow in that as well, and yeah, grow in kind of my consistency on, being consistent at posting these things, and consistent having a conversation with friends and family, and consistent at having kind of deeper thoughts, and times to reflect, on all these things, and also interviewing. I've not done many interviews before, done a handful here and there, but I'm really excited to be doing that more, to have more conversations with people who I wouldn't necessarily get the opportunity to talk to otherwise, but through a podcast opens the opportunity to have those conversations, which I think is really exciting and gives an opportunity for me to grow through those conversations and hopefully learn from them, to then also bless others with that knowledge through this podcast, which I think would be really exciting. And yeah, I think going back to kind of what my success of this is going to define a success, is going to be kind of being consistent, being impactful, and growing, be that me personally, but also those listening. And it's not going to be about the followers. I'm probably going to see the stats, look at them a little bit because it's interesting, but actually I don't want to get hung up by that, because I know social validation is not what I'm here for, and that's not going to help me grow as a person, and that might, that can make me go downhill, and I think it's a difficult slippery slope looking at statistics too much. So I want this to be just a raw, honest thing rather than a big stats game. I'll kind of optimize things in the right ways so more people can listen and see with the right kind of titles and things, but actually I don't want that to be getting ahead of what this is really about. So please keep me consistent to that. If you're listening to this and you think I'm going away from that, kick me. Like, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to be challenged. So if someone sees us a few years down the line and I've gone off that, I'd love to be nudged, and friends that might be listening as well. And I'd also love this to kind of connect with my business, which is then make some crossover and be able to use it as an opportunity to kind of grow the business through this podcast and be sharing the stories from what it's like to be a business owner at uni, and juggling that. And the excitement that is, I love it to bits, but at times it's difficult. So we get to share some of those, and I want to have those conversations, and kind of telling stories about how it grew. And yeah, I want to kind of protect myself as well while this grows. If it does go bigger, I want to make sure I'm staying true to who I am, being authentic, and yeah, staying focused on God throughout. And if this suddenly gets in the way of my relationship with God, this may go, and that's fine, because my relationship with God is the most important, and be able to help others on that journey. So I want to be really intentional about that as well. But yeah, so basically going to be trying to do this every week or so, and having just honest conversations, whether it's about what my why is, or what it might be. And there's a lot of different things it could be. But yeah, to kind of conclude, I think my why, there's lots of different things why I'm doing this or why I do what I do. But what motivates me is bringing joy to people, bringing people to Jesus, telling people about Jesus, but also just sharing my love and sharing God's love with those people. And that doesn't have to be telling people about Jesus, just being loving, spending time in community of friends and family, and just having a lot of fun, going camping, having genuine good human connections. That I love it to bits, and I want to be able to grow in that. I want to be able to have more good, deep conversations and help others that might be struggling with things and open conversations up with them. And for me, some of the most meaningful, the most meaningful things are with other people, and it's spending time in community, be that friends at uni, be that friends from home, be that my family, be that my church, my youth group, whatever. That's what really gets me going, and I just love that. So I think that's my main why. I think kind of in summary, why I'm starting the podcast is to be able to help grow, help share my journey, and we'll see where it goes. Thank you for listening. And the PerkyPod documents my faith-anchored growth as a student entrepreneur, using short, honest episodes to help build discipline, serve others, and turn reflection into action. Thanks for listening. God bless, guys. Bye. Before I wrap up, just a few quick notes to keep this intentional and aligned with the professional development portfolio I'm building. So the audience for this is kind of students, young creatives, and kind of early career entrepreneurs, and people that are kind of interested in a faith-anchored personal growth journey, and people that are interested in a general growth journey. So it's kind of can be specific, but I don't want it to be kind of not open to everyone. And the aim of it is to kind of share honest takeaways from my own journey, and kind of be sharing what I'm learning and growing. And kind of for the workflow of this, I'm planning on recording in the early week, and kind of editing it and posting it hopefully before Wednesday each week, and then spending the rest of the week to reflect on the episodes that I've done, and then also to use that time to plan for the coming ones that I'll do in the following week. And I've also got smart objectives within this, and specifically I'm going to be creating a podcast that documents my goals and progress relating to a variety of topics, and inviting guests to add kind of value and inspiration within that. I'm going to have it measurable by posting one episode per week or 4 per month, and having it achievable by kind of posting consistently, but putting progress over perfection, not trying to make things perfect. Hence the fact this is in like 3 different cuts, and accepting that it's going to be a learning curve, and making sure it's relevant, having the topics I'm doing linking to the goals I've got and the topics I'm interested in, and be able to kind of deliver genuine value to those that might be listening, and have it time limited. Going to be reviewing progress every 2 months, reflecting on how it's going and adjusting the direction. And that's kind of the podcast as a whole, but as this professional development portfolio, I'll be doing that reflection at the end of each week, or the end of each episode as well. And yes, my goals are posting once a week, doing episodes that kind of maybe 10 to 15 minutes long, not too long, so I don't want a kind of portfolio to be too long, but some of the other episodes I'll be releasing on here will hopefully be a bit longer and diving and digging a bit deeper, and I really want to be able to practice my kind of interviewing skills. Those are kind of my goals at the moment for the next couple of weeks, and be able to kind of hone those skills in, especially before I invite any guests on. And as for the kind of boundaries for this, it's basically going to be me sharing my experience, but not having kind of any formal advice, just me sharing what I think and feel. And I want to kind of stay authentic, just stay true to myself and true to my faith, which this is grounded on, and understand that I'm going to misspeak, I'm going to stumble on things, but actually that's right. I'm just going to put things out there, and acknowledge there might be some things I stumble on, might be some bits I've not fully researched on. So if there are things, be good to, I want to be able to learn through them and grow on them, and research more into topics that I may need to. This is going to be focused on kind of personal growth, not growth as in the metrics of how much this is growing. I think that's it. Sorry to add on this little extra, but thanks so much for listening, and God bless. Bye.